morning! It is another day on the Appalachian Trail. We camped by a river, which was just darling. We have about 12.3 miles planned today. We're getting out of the Wildcats. We have like a half a mile left in the Wildcats. But also we're gonna hit the 1900 mile marker. I feel like that one seemed to have been forever, but I guess not, because the 1800 mile marker was at Mount Moosilauke, and that was the beginning of the Whites. So I guess the Whites are like around 100 miles. Anywho, on another note, I thought I'd share with you one of the struggles that we have in the morning when it comes to tenting. And it's not spiders, it's slugs. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna count how many slugs will be on my tent today. It's really important to remove the slugs because if I pack them up, they're so sneaky. They sometimes are in crevices where you don't see them. Then I pack them up, and then in the evening when I unroll my tent, the tent smells incredibly horrible because probably they died, or probably they just smell bad, I don't know. But they definitely died, and so then the tent smells so bad. So it's really important to get all the slugs. Slug number 1. Number 2. Number 3. I guess it was only 3 slugs. That's not too bad. I hope I didn't miss one, because again, those little suckers, they get right in there and then everything smells delicious. Not. Okie dokie, we have a little bit of a late start, which is absolutely fine. Groceries is not feeling too well. She's got some dizziness, feeling like wanting to throw up, and then some Imodium stuff. So she's taken some of the Imodium, and I just hope she will feel better. We rested a little bit longer. She said she wants to move on, but we'll have to see. We'll have to find we'll have to know a plan B just in case she doesn't feel any better. And moving on. Boom, boom, boom. Road walking. Trying to film more. I'm really bad at filming when it starts raining. Not only because, it's raining, but also my mood gets really bad when it starts raining. And I just want to get out of the rain. So yesterday there was a little sign that said we only had 300 miles left. Guess what? I looked at it and I kept walking. I was like, I could take a video, but I didn't want to. So today it's a little bit sunnier, so I think I'll be filming more. So in general, I know it's pretty late in explaining this to you guys, but when it rains, it's not necessarily that I couldn't get the phone out. There's opportunities, but it's my mood is severely impacted by the weather. I don't know if that's just me, or I don't know. I could never live in Seattle or something like that. It would really be one of the worst things for me. So anywho, we're about to cross a bridge, so that's kind of cool. Sun Street is a river crossing. River crossing. Back into the woods, done with the Wildcats. Woohoo, happiness. That stone looks like a heart. Pretty. I don't know why I keep thinking nothing like this is gonna happen again, but I was not prepared for this. It's straight up. Well, here we go. We are on the top. I don't even know what the name of this hill is. Mountain. Boom, and then you have a blaze like this, which means you go like this, and then like this. We're about a 0.4 from the 1900 mile marker. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. So I had read some far out remarks that people didn't like this particular section because it was not maintained. So I kind of can see that. Like, you are in a jungle. But it's not any worse than, like, I thought in Vermont it was very similar. In fact, I don't think I talked about it, but we didn't have so much mud, but we had a lot of car washes is what I call these. Because as you go through all of those leaves and when they're wet, you just feel like you're in a car wash. If you didn't take a shower that day, well, those leaves will take care of it. Ooh. All right here, 1900. Check. So the 1900 mile marker is right behind me. I'm gonna see if I can wait for groceries. I usually like to wait for her. Sometimes though she's so far behind, I just like, my body just wants to keep moving. But it's pretty much the beginning, more of the beginning of the day, so she shouldn't be super far behind. The ascent of this mountain wasn't that difficult. There was a little bit of rock scrambling, like for just like 20-30 meters or something like that. So not that bad. So 1900 miles. I am just flabbergasted, honestly. Pretty amazing. I can't wait to get to the 2000. I don't know what it is about the 2000, but it's something about that many miles. But I only have 294.3 miles left. That sounds really amazing. Like less than 300, 294. I could, if I was one of those people that hikes a lot of miles, I could be done in literally like 2.5 to 3 weeks. I think it'll take me like another 3 to 4 weeks, honestly. It's what's really weird is that it's kind of I don't know if it's an oxymoron or something like that. I don't know if that's the right term, but you're so close to the end and it just seems so close. I mean, it kind of isn't close because you still have 294 miles. I mean, if you think of that, that's really far, but it's very little compared to what we've hiked. But for some reason, even though you're so close to the end, your mind is playing tricks on you. Your mind is trying to tell you you've hiked enough. It's okay to go home. And I've experienced that, and it doesn't make any sense logically. I'm more of a logical person. I am emotional and artistic too, but I probably am more of a logical person. And logically, that doesn't make any sense to want to go home when you're so close to the end. But your mind really is doing that. Like, I'm hiking and I go, you know what? Like, you've done really well. It's time to go home. And I'm mentioning it because it's happening to a lot of hikers. I know I've seen one of the hikers that we've hiked with at the very beginning. She posted something on Instagram that like the mind is making her want to go home, like saying like it's time to go home, even though you're so close to the end. And because honestly, barring physical injuries, your body is good to go. I feel this way. I mean, I know I still have Maine ahead of me. especially southern Maine. You know, Mahoosuc Notch comes up tomorrow, which I'm excited about, and then the Mahoosuc Arm the day after, which is supposed to be very difficult. But yeah, it's very easy to just kind of think like it's time, like time to go home. Logically, doesn't make sense. Emotionally and psychologically, it does. Like, oh, we're just like, yeah, totally, like we've done enough. So, but I'm really excited to get into Maine, which is what should happen tomorrow, and that'll be a really, really crazy feeling to have walked from Georgia to Maine. So, thanks again for continuing to follow me and for being supportive. Thank you so much for having donated to Rafael's GoFundMe. I did say that I was hiking for him in the whites, and I've done it. I've done the whites, and Rafael was with me. You know, we're not really like friends. We are acquaintances. We're dance peers, but we still, you know, look out for each other, and I really care about him because he was the dance partner of my coworker. And so he, you know, and he's a really good person. It's not like he's just not a nice guy. He's like a wonderful person, and I'm so thankful that you guys were able to donate something to him. And it really, really means a lot to me because, yeah, as I mentioned, I was in a wheelchair before, and the fact that I can walk this is really meaningful. So here we go, rambling. Anyway, just gonna see if I can wait for groceries. Maybe I'm gonna have like a peanut butter burrito. Maybe that's what I'll have. Found the groceries, and also another 1900. Whoop whoop! Now looky look! A beautiful pond. Yep. Some water hopping, river crossing. Ooh, okay. I think I'm gonna put my phone away. This is a lot darker than the camera shows. Huh. And this is the Upper Gentian Pond. So nice. Like, wow. Well, hello there. I found a little dispersed site. Let me show you. It's pretty. There's the trail is like right there, so it's not really like, it's definitely not stealthy, more dispersed. There should be a spot for groceries, making my food, section hiker, trash. So this is it. I was hanging some clothes because everything's still pretty wet from the rain yesterday. So last time I talked to groceries, because I have no connection right now, but last time I talked to her, she was about 2.5 miles behind. That can equal anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. She has two kind of steepy things coming up, so I'm curious to see how much longer she'll be until she gets here. But I'll be making some food. It was such a lovely day. Probably one of my favorite days. I felt really healthy, happy, so that was good. And then also, I feel like I should, no, I don't. And then tomorrow we're gonna get into Maine. And then tomorrow is gonna be the Mahusik Notch, probably, unless we decide to camp before it and then do Mahusik Notch and Mahusik Arm the day after. But I think I wanna do the Mahusik Notch and then camp and then Mahusik Arm. So if anybody doesn't know what the Mahusik Notch is, you can Google it, but it is supposed to be 1 mile of really crazy rock. Is it scrambling? It's more like you're trying to move through rocks. It's like the lemon squeeze, but like every single rock is a lemon squeeze. So it can be either the most fun mile or the most annoying mile. And then the Mahusik Arm, which is the day after, is going to be a very steep mountain. Or, I don't know, just steep, like really steep. Like the comments are talking about how steep it is, and I've always known of the Mahusik Arm. So that's just the introduction to Maine, and I'm excited to get there.